Yo, what up YouTube gang? I'm Jay Pats, and this week you could probably tell that I'm not in my home studio. I'm on the road, in the desert, just on a little creative getaway, but still wanted to make a video, so here I am. This week we're going to be breaking down how I made this grimy boom bap beat without using samples. So first I'll show you a preview of the beat, then I'll show you how I made the sample, and then I'll show you how I flipped that sample into the beat. So let's just jump right into it. Alright, so now I'm just loading up the sample part of the beat just because I bounced that out so it's in a different session. And I basically just treated it like a sample, so I resampled myself. Okay, so here's the project for the melody, so I'll just show you how the full melody sounds and then I'll break down each section. So I first got inspired by this harp that I got from Philharmonic, and I just played a really simple thing running up the scale in C minor. You know what I'm gonna say this whole video, everything's simple. The theory for this is basically just a 1-5 progression. So it basically plays the 1, which is C, and then the 5th of the scale, which is G. And instead of playing like a chord, it's just plucking notes or just arpeggiated kind of. Yeah, it just went from C to G, and 1-5 works pretty much every single time. You'll hear it in a lot of songs today. Figured why not just keep it simple and do that. I had that, and I just knew all I really needed was to add dope atmosphere and just keep it grimy. Next I added this organ. With this, I don't know if I call these chords, but I treated these more like chords. So again, I played the 1 and then went down to the 5. And I just played different notes in the scale. Again, notes that are close to each other because that just adds a lot of tension. So that's kind of the theory behind that. After that, I like these 2 layers together. I wanted some piano in there just because I like how that sounds in boom bap beats. So I added just these little things again, just playing the 1 and then the 5. Treating it almost like a chord progression, even though it's not really. And just put delay on them. Yeah, I actually put this tape machine on there from Arturia. Then this VC60 piano compressor. Tape mellow, which used to be a free plugin. I think it might still be, so if it is, cop that. And then Valhalla, you see me using that all the time. And that's also a free plugin. Yeah, you could see how I love the free plugins. And just going back to the mixing on the organ, all I had was some reverb on there. So most of these sounds, as you could tell, either just from Arturia or Philharmonic. Next, I added in this choir. Yeah, these I would say more are chords. And I think I might have inverted these. I don't really remember. Yeah, I think I inverted the 2 bottom notes of the second chord. For the mixing of that, all we have is vinyl, which is another free plugin. So get your hands on that if you're interested. Okay, and then I played these strings from Philharmonic. And this, I didn't do a 1-5 thing. I just played these like super tense notes. So again, these close together notes help achieve that. And there's just some reverb on them on the send, and that's it. I didn't even EQ this. Lastly, as far as tonal sounds, I added in this Rhodes from Lounge Lizard. And that's just really playing all the close together notes. Like I've been saying, that just adds a lot of tension. So the close together notes in the scale. And then lastly, I just put in this little ride loop. just to add some sort of rhythm to the sample and just kind of make it feel more vintage. Yeah, that's it for the melody side of things. Now I'm going to take it over to the beat project and show you how I flip this sample into a full beat. All right, so now we back in the beat side of the project. So first I flipped this sample out, just did a basic arrangement, took out sections, put stuff in, and then I essentially just treated it as I would if I was just flipping a normal sample from like a record or something. Here are the chops that I did. This was for the main part of the beat, the hook, so I took the busiest section of the loop that I made. And as you could tell, other than chopping up the loop that I made, I didn't really do much. I just chopped it, sped it up, and then pitched it up 3. But for me, there's just something about when I make a loop, even if it's not good, and I just go and pitch it or just do something simple to it, it brings a whole new level of inspiration. So sometimes if you have a melody that's not that good, just try do that and mess with it in like Serato or any other sampler, and like you might just turn it into something that's dope. That's kind of what happened here. Next, I just chopped out different sections of the sample just so that the arrangement felt like it was moving forward. So I have this part, which is like the first part of the verse. And that's just got a filter on it, cutting out some highs, and it doesn't have all the extra busy parts of the sample. It's mostly just the harp. For the B section of the verse, I just took different chops from my sample loop. So here's how that sounds. It's basically the part with kind of the busy parts and then just not having the harp in there. I like to have different sections like that when I bounce out my loop so that there's some sort of variation. And then for the start of the second verse, I just had one other different chop. Yeah, so I just half-timed this. And it just helps seem like something's happening even if it's really not that major. That's really how I just flip my sample into the whole beat. Then from there it was pretty simple because I kind of knew what I wanted to do with the drums. I just wanted to keep it simple boom bap, and literally all I have is kick, snare, hats, and a bass. So like I've said already, and like I say in all my videos, this is so simple. Just keep it simple, have the right bounce and sound selection, and you don't need anything else. First I started with this kick. Put nothing on it except that I made it mono just to make sure that the kick's in mono, because I always like the lower end frequencies in mono. And then I added the snare. Just put a stock Ableton reverb on it just to give it that, like, I don't want to say Mobb Deep, but kind of almost like Mobb Deep style old school snare. And then I just filtered out some lows from it because that's just unnecessary. And then a little bit of highs just because I wanted it to be a little more lo-fi, not like as in your face, even though it still a little bit is. And then lastly, just the hats. And you can hear those are dope because they are super, like, I guess kind of reverby, and then I took out a lot of low end again because I don't need that in there. Also, I just have a little bit of velocity sensitivity going on, and the hi-hats aren't fully on beat, so that just gives it some swing that I liked. So the drums together sound like this. Grimy, dirty drums, and as you could probably tell, the reverb helps a lot with that because it kind of fills in empty space, especially when you have a super simple drum pattern. Lastly, I just took this bass one shot and loaded it up into a sampler. Just followed the root notes, I guess, of what I was playing. So as you could tell, it's not C and G anymore because I moved up 3 semitones, so now it's D sharp and A sharp. Like, bruh. This is so simple. Like, please just stop doing too much with your beats, because then a rapper's not even gonna want to rap on it. As you can see in all my videos, I practice what I preach, and I just try to keep it as simple as possible. Hopefully there was some helpful content in this video that you can apply to your own beats. And if there was, please don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell, because it really just helps out the channel and keeps me motivated to keep on making content for you guys and sharing my knowledge. So thanks for tapping in. I'm Jay Pats. Peace.